this is the Provoked Prawn, and I want to talk to you about a tiny little box, which is this little thing here, the Streamer X. Now, this is a RØDE device, and an interesting one because it's a compact form factor. As you can see, it has loads of cables coming out of it, and that's because it powers this XLR microphone, but it also is showing you this camera view. So this is plugged into my Sony camera, HDMI cable, and it has HDMI in and out, 2 PC setup streaming possibilities with 2 USB connections, and a lot more going on. You can do all the usual things
like voice changes and funky stuff like that.
Bleep yourself out and other things. You can also turn the video off and more. But it's fascinating to me because it's a compact device which offers the same sort of functionality as the Rodecaster Pro 2, plus the HDMI input, which is obviously going to be beneficial if you want to do capture from another device, let's say a console or a camera, or if you want to combine it with something else. So, for example, I've got it combined with an Elgato capture card, which allows me to then switch sources so that you can then see the device on the desk at the same time. So I can switch to this, and you can see here now, this is obviously not through the Streamer X, but it means if you have multiple cameras, you can then easily switch between them and get 2 different setups and 2 different angles at the same time, and have some really high quality capture, because as you can see, obviously, depending on the camera you're putting into it, you've got a really good setup with a really nice picture there. There's a lot more to it, including a lot more customization in what you can do in here. So I want to dive into some of that. I'm going to do a full detailed setup guide of this separately. But the thing that I've done with it is use it with SteelSeries Sonar to end up with multi-track audio recording so that you can capture multiple audio tracks, let's say chat, game, your microphone, and other things, all in separate audio tracks in OBS, so that you can record those and then you can use them for editing your gameplay clips and other things in DaVinci Resolve, for example. And combining the Streamer X and Sonar makes for a really interesting and useful combination. So stick around and see what happens there. But first, a few other things of interest. Now, I said already it was like the Rodecaster Pro 2, but you can see it alongside the Rodecaster Duo here to give you an idea of just how compact it is, and my squashy banana, just again to demonstrate that size. So it has a really small form factor to it, which is great if you don't want to take up too much space on your desk. It is also capable of powering the Shure SM7B without a cloud lifter or any other device, so you don't need to boost the Shure microphone despite what people might tell you. And this little thing also has phantom power to it, so it can handle other microphones. Naturally, it also has Revolution Preamps in there from RØDE, so you get a really good quality sound out of it. And some easy tweaking with RØDE Central. You can adjust things in there. Now, this is actually a multi-cable device in terms of the microphone offering as well, because it will also work with RØDE's wireless microphones, the Wireless Me as one of the examples. Just above the microphone gain wheel, you'll spy there's a little indicator up there which shows you not only what you're connected to, but allows you to switch between them. So you can switch to the wireless microphone, and then you can just pair that device, and then you can obviously use that separately if you want to. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in what you can do, whether you're using a standard XLR microphone or a wireless microphone. At the rear, you'll notice there's also a jack for a headset with a microphone attachment, so you can also use a gaming headset as a 3.5mm mic cable, so loads of options back there. You'll also see the 2 USB-C cables and the HDMI throughput, so you can plug an HDMI device into it, as I've done with my camera and demonstrated that already, or alternatively, you can plug a console in there, for example, and then have pass-through so that you can then have that display on a monitor or do other things with it. So it's perfect for single PC setups or dual PC streaming setups, if that's what you're into. And loads of different flexibility options. The other reason I really like this is it will work nicely with the SteelSeries Nova Pro Wireless, which is my favorite headset. And if you have a similar headset which allows this functionality, then you can use this to mic monitor externally really easily. All you need is a 3.5mm cable, and I also use this adapter so that you can plug the 3.5mm cable into that and then into the SteelSeries line in port, for example. And then what that allows you to do is to send the signal from the Streamer X to the base station of the SteelSeries headset and then mic monitor and listen to all the sounds externally. Now, inside the Streamer X box, I want to talk about a couple of things, because one of the things you'll notice is it comes with a power adapter. So there is a power brick, because this thing does need to be powered externally as well as connecting to your PC. So you've seen how many cables you end up plugging in because you need, as basic level, one Rode USB-C cable as well, USB-C on both ends, plugs into the PC, plugs into this, but you also need power separately, so it's worth noting that. And obviously if you're plugging in a second PC as well, then you're going to end up with even more cables. So you can end up with a lot of cables, but it is such a small device, it's really easy to manage. The HDMI connection is also plug and play. It's really straightforward. Plug your cable into there, go into OBS, and you get to select the Streamer X as one of the video sources with relative ease. And it's just straight there in your scenes, and you don't have to worry about any other messing about with other software in order to get it to work. Now, it does work with RØDE Central for firmware updates, and you can do some tweaking and some setting changes in there. But once you've got everything plugged in, you're away. And it has some basic controls on it for simple interface, but as you can see, they're quite minimal, which isn't necessarily a problem. So there's some simple adjustment in here. Now, obviously with something like the Rodecaster Pro 2 or the Rodecaster Duo, you have a bit more functionality in terms of being able to adjust the volumes of your different channels with hardware sliders, which you don't have here, which is one downside to the system, but you can adjust it at software level. But to be honest, once you've got those levels about the right sort of setup for you, it doesn't really matter in my experience. You don't have to mess with them very often, so it's fine. This is just the microphone gain wheel, and you do have a indicator here to let you know when you're clipping, so you can see that quite easily. And once you've set the gain, you rarely have to adjust that. The volume on your headset is what you're hearing in here. Then you've got mic, mute, and obviously the ability to turn the camera off as well. Now, these FX pads, as you've heard already, play various different sounds, and you can see there are a few pages in there which you can adjust in RØDE Central, so you can change those things around. But otherwise, it's pretty basic controls. Now, unfortunately, RØDE still doesn't have the option to use these as sample pads like with the Go XLR, so you can't just press and hold these to capture audio, for example, which would be really a nice addition to it if they add that in. Hopefully one day RØDE will listen and add such a simple functionality in, because that was one great thing for the Go XLR. But otherwise, this is really powerful bit of kit. Now, I just want to quickly dive into how you set this up to show you what you can do so you can get multi-channel audio out of it, because as standard, it's not that great with the RØDE Central software. It does work with RØDE Unify, so you can use RØDE's own controls in here, which you can see allows you to have various different channels and adjust the volume for each, muting them and other things. You can also jump into channel assignments and you can select what's in there. But what I've found is it's not quite as good as like the Rodecaster Duo and the Rodecaster Pro 2, where you can customize that thing a bit more. Because I've found, for example, that my friends could hear me through USB chat, hear themselves back. So there's no mix minus settings there. In RØDE Central, you can adjust various different things as well. So you can see you have different options for streaming presentation and video calls. You can also customize some of this to some degree, adjusting the levels of each of them. But again, it's just not as powerful. One thing it is worth getting for is the ability to adjust the settings in here. So for the processing powers, adjusting noise gate, compressor, EQ settings, de-esser and all that. And I'll cover this more in depth in the setup guide if you're curious. But you'll see that GG is more powerful here. So this is SteelSeries GG and SteelSeries Sonar, which is what I use for my setup with the Streamer X, because it's fairly simple but also has some useful controls in it. So at a basic level, you can see you've got the game, chat, media, auxiliary, microphone settings in here. You can choose the volume for each, both to the stream mix and to your headphones. Apps automatically get dropped in there, so games go into the game one, for example. Discord goes into chat. You can also customize and configure your audio, so you can have specific game sounds. So let's say Escape from Tarkov, customized there, and then you get that audio out of it and tweaked. You can also adjust other things, so you can actually apply noise reduction and broadcast settings to your friends' microphones via this, so it's pretty powerful. I do turn off the EQ settings for the mic, because obviously we want the Streamer X to do all the processing there, because the hardware level processing is better than the software level would be. Gives you a far superior sound, so I would recommend doing that. But what I like about this system is that you can use OBS to then have multiple tracks into it. So the way that we do this is you go into your sound settings under audio and you see that you can select various different things for desktop audio. So I have desktop audio, Sonar gaming as one of them, chat as another, the stream mix as the microphone, and then I also have the Streamer X mic in there as well for good measure. Then in the standard setup for the audio down here, you can go into advanced audio profiles, and then you can just tick different tracks to select them and put them out as different audio sources. So in the output for audio, you can obviously tick multiple audio tracks for recording, have a single one for stream, and then obviously select your stream mix for that. But you have multiple ones for recording purposes. And then what happens is when you go into DaVinci Resolve, for example, and we grab a gameplay clip or whatever you want, you'll see that you then have multiple audio tracks in here. So we've got game audio, we've got mic audio, we've got chat audio, and it's all just in multiple tracks, and you can select which ones you want to use. You can reduce the levels of one, bring up the levels of another. So if you just wanted to hear your voice or you just want to hear game audio, you can do that, and you can do it really easily. And this is a much more streamlined system, and it allows you to mix other things and delete issues that you might have with your friends hearing themselves back through the Streamer X, which is something I encountered when trying to use Unify. So combine those things. The Streamer X is a fantastic bit of kit for a load of different reasons that you can see. It's really powerful. It sounds great. It can handle multiple devices. You can use it in different ways with different microphones, single PC, dual PC setups, and loads of other things. It's really powerful, and I love it. It's a brilliant addition to the setup and a brilliant option or alternative to the Rodecaster Pro Duo or the Rodecaster Pro 2 or Go XLR or anything else out there. In my mind, this is a little awesome bit of kit. Hope you found this video useful. If you did, check out the links in the description to related videos you might also find useful. Thanks for watching. You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos. You might well find them interesting or useful. And most importantly, have a great life.